let's try to shift politics away from governance now. Trying to assess the objectives you've been pursuing so far in reforming the civil service. People feel that will translate to cost reduction in cost of governance, but people are also concerned that there is a double standard here with the allegation of cash gifts to masquerades in Kogi State. Could you confirm this allegation?
We are Africans, we are Nigerians.
They said 12 million naira and 6 Venza jeeps have been given to masquerades.
We are Africans, we are Nigerians. Even though we belong to one religion or the other. But, Benga, let me ask you, that we believe as Africans that masquerades are spirits. Have you ever seen spirits riding a car or spending money? So it is still politics that they are playing. That never existed.
Are you not bringing bringing sarcasm into this allegation? No. Because we do know that in spite of the perception that masquerades are spirits, we know the human elements are also associated to this belief.
No, it is. So, you ask a question and I answer the question. That I give cash and cash.
Okay. Did you at any point in time give out gifts in terms of cars and cash?
I'm coming. I said I did not give cash. I did not give car.
Yeah, because I read your response on the dailies, and I feel that the response needs more clarification. And did you at any point
let me
give out 6 Venza cars as gift and cash gift of 12 million naira each to 6?
I think, you see, when people are making accusation, they should be able to substantiate it. First, I said, I don't give cars and cash to masquerade or to even human being.
The allegation of civil servants owing salary has remained a big stain in your administration because of the bad publicity we're getting from Kogi State. What do you think about this issue?
Thank you. The issue of Kogi State civil service is in itself a big problem and dragging the development of the state backward. Overbloated state civil service, we need to clean it up because there are those who are drawing from Kogi State pores that are not supposed to be there. I give you an example. When we started the screening, and it got to the point of removing those that with fake certificates, even some of my aides and government officials, their brothers and sisters were involved in this saga.
Yeah, it's also important we raise this issue. You've been fingered in the process of double registration that people feel have cost 3 INEC staff their job, and they're pointing fingers at you that your conduct in an election exercise has cost 3 INEC staff their jobs. Could you react to this?
I actually saw the press release that I was engaged in press and double registration on 23rd of May, 2017. Meanwhile, I left the shores of this country on 19th of May, 2017. And the question is, how did I engage in double registration? Probably my ghost or my duplicate. Now, if they victimize their officials for whatever reason, well, I think those staff will know how to go about their case.
For INEC to disengage 3 of its staff, that's a very serious matter, and I'm sure that the possibility that they've done their due diligence before expelling these staffers must be high on cards.
I am challenging INEC to provide full detail of their investigation of that so-called double registration.
Let's look at perhaps give a voice to one of the biggest mayhem that has been happening right now, and that's the allegation of headsmen attack in Benue State. just before now, sometimes last year, you pronounced a policy of open grazing in Kogi State. So comparing it with what is happening now, what would you like to say?
Honestly, I sympathize with my brothers and sisters in Benue State who were involved in this callous killing. I sympathize with them. I condole them, the government and the good people of Benue State, Kogi State. When I assumed office, there's a particular case that was reported to me of a Fulani man whose cows were killed and one of his sons killed as well by some, restive youths, about 40 of his cows. And then immediately I swung into action, invited the Fulani man, and I detailed the security agencies to go after those criminals. Then eventually we settled that particular case. Another ugly one occurred again, somewhere in one of the local governments. And the security report I had was very disturbing. Now, I now call the farmers, the Fulani men, the traditional rulers, and all the security heads for a round-table discussion. And one of the requests from the Fulanis is that protect us, tax us per cow, and protect us.
Well, people feel that
yes.
Your endorsement of open grazing system
Yes.
is a kind of appeasement to criminality because killing is involved here.
How many farmers, herdsmen clash have we recorded in Kogi State other than these two incidents? That was the first month that I assumed office in Kogi State. How many of those crises have we witnessed in Kogi State? None.
How will there be open grazing system without these people encroaching on farmlands, just in a succinct way?
Very good. They have their roots. They have their roots. Along their roots, because you see, if you use helicopter and you fly on this, and you fly across the land, how many of these lands are used for farming? How many of these lands are used for housing? We have vast land that very minute, very minimal of this portion of lands are used for farming.
Sorry, I'm a bit digressing.
Yeah.
You are not the governor of Kogi State, but you are a statesman.
Okay.
You are a statesman.
All right.
So, what would be your advice for Benue State?
I will advise my brothers, or my brother in Benue, to be calm. They have enacted the anti-open grazing law already. I will advise that they should be calm, they should tolerate each other because they have lived for too long. Open confrontation would never help.
Let me take you to institutional reforms in Kogi State now. Agric is one area experts have said could be the biggest employer of labor. What are you doing in Kogi State? Because you are now saying that you can sustain the payment of workers' salary, and they're also expecting that you increase revenue of the state. So what are you doing in terms of agricultural revolution?
Thank you very much. It's one of our thematic areas of improving the lives of our people. When we came on board, there is this particular dam called Omi Dam. Decades it has been lying there, no government has ever visited there. But I went and took a visit at the Omi Dam, and I discovered that there's a treasure there. Right now, the confluence rice is being produced from there, and a lot of our youth have been engaged there. Ibaji rice is there. Ibaji people are predominantly farmers. We are producing a lot of rice from there. Girinya side and some other parts of Lokoja is there.
Now, before we wind down this conversation now, people believe that once there is a political solution to the current situation in Kogi State, every other thing can be built on that. So the question is, what are you doing to unite the party in Kogi State?
The party is united. You can't beg You can't take a horse to a river and force it to drink the water. In Kogi State, hundreds, thousands, and millions are decamping to APC in Kogi State. You've never heard of any one single soul that's decamped to PDP. And
you don't think that your perception of someone like James Faleke now, pardon me for mentioning names, I know you're reluctant about bringing in names now, in as much as you said that he's a representative from Lagos, but Providence has placed them in such a way that he is now a political heavyweight in Kogi State. You don't think that there's a need for political reconciliation?
James Faleke was not elected, not one single human being elected him in any capacity that he has, or in any position he has held.
And you feel there is no need for any political reconciliation
in Kogi
with
State,
James Faleke?
In Kogi State, he is a Lagosian.
The Executive Governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Yahaya Bello, thank you so much for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
Wish you the very best of luck.
Amen. Thank you.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time from Channels Television. What's your take on Governor Yahaya Bello's performance in Kogi State? Send us a comment on our social media platforms. Join us next week for a fresh episode of the show on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashuru. Bye for now.